Morning all. It is to me after a gap of nearly 2 to 3 years after my retirement from this esteemed college, our SV Ayurvedic College. I am really very much thankful that I have been given this opportunity to share some of my views. So in a brief, and head of this Sharia department, and almost all the, though they are no my colleagues, they are now that opportunity to call them as my students also. So thank you very much, Dr. Renu. So the our pride and our present principal, she was just a student in our classroom when she joined BAMS, and since then we know her every aspect of her next career. And she did her PhD and again joined us as a colleague in the Department of Dravaguna. And Harsha was very much close to me in my entire college period, and after that also now he's colleague and he's professor. So I used to call him Professor Harsha. No. So madam, thank you very much. So let us start some of the aspects of anorectal problems. Actually, I was thinking that this talk will be a public talk or a general for a popular article type of talk, and it should be addressed to the general public, and that's why I have just selected this, and it is not anything to do with the research aspects of the anorectal disorders. So as we know, anorectal disorders are very much important, and people will call, if any anorectal disorders they are facing, they will call the doctors of Ayurveda first. So that much wide and Ayurvedic practices. So first of all, our Lord, whose abode we just built up our careers and our institutions, Vina Venkatesham Nanado Nanada, Sada Venkatesham Smarami Smarami, and Lal Dharmantari, our god of Ayurveda, then Shushruta. So this is the important picture, Shushruta, who actually approaching a patient for the surgery, and this was drawn by a very famous artist, Satyam, and he has actually donated it to our department, and since then we are using this. And I should actually show this picture because the anorectal disorders or the proctology in Ayurveda actually revitalized, re-researched and re-established by none other than this Professor P.J. Deshpande, because under his supervision, though there were many other important workers and many other research scholars worked under him, but he has established the importance of Shara Sutra and actually proclaimed it in the entire world. Even in US also, he has actually published in their journals about the Shara Sutra. So it is our duty to have some respects to this great researcher. So coming to the point, actually in Ayurveda, we say that there are Ashta Mahagadas. Gada is nothing but the diseases. Ashta Mahagada. So 8 such diseases are there. And these Ashtamagadas are differ from Shastra to Shastra. That means for Charaka, it's somewhat different. For Shishruta, they are somewhat different. And for Ashtanga Hridaya also, there is some difference. But as far as Shishruta is concerned, who is actually concerned to the surgery, so these 8 important or very critical disorders, and mankind generally we suffer from these Mahagadas very frequently. The incidence is very frequent, and they are very much difficult to control also. That's why they are categorized in Ashta Mahagadas. So if you see the Shishruta's Ashta Mahagadas, first 2 are Arsha and Bhagandara. And then you can see Vatavyadi, Ashmari, Kushta, Mudagarva, Prameya, and Udarrogas. So these Ashtamahagadas are important one, and the whole Shastra and whole Chikitsa Sana actually is entirely about the description of these disorders and the probable and beautiful treatments about these disorders. And naturally, Shishruta has mentioned many of the surgical aspects and surgical procedures for these disorders. But if you see how much proctology is there or anorectal problems are there in that are described in Ayurveda. So you can see, you can number them. Here I kept only 9, but there are many cross references and many places. These Ayurvedic scriptures, you can find many things, but here to note some of them, Arsha, Bhagandara, Parikartika, Buddha Vidradi, Buddha Bhamsha, Buddha Arbuda, Sanniruddha Buddha, and Abhighata, Buddha Paka. So these are the very common things, and generally we get in our practice also. So this may now presenting, I am just presenting for the new practitioners or the practitioners who can actually take up these problems and do the general practice, so they can flourish like anything, because much of the knowledge is there in Ayurveda, which is very easy and very simply in a daycare procedures or in a daycare setup, we can actually treat them and get good reputation also. The reputation will be to you and to even the Shastra, Ayurveda. So now let us see the facts. If you take only anorectal disorders, if you want to practice only anorectal disorders, you just should understand the statistics and the various facts, how actually these disorders are prevailing. You can see that the facts regarding piles, worldwide prevalence of hemorrhoids are 4.4% in the entire population, not only in the patients, the entire all population, 4.4% of the general population, they are suffering. And 50% of the population, one day or the other day, they suffer from the anorectal disorder, particularly piles. The symptoms of piles is experienced by almost all the 50% of the population on one day or the other day, and before they attain 50 years of age, the person will have the experience of the various problems of piles. So that is also important. That means so much occurrence and so much patients will be there with piles. So in India, the condition is very common that you will find 1 in 20 patients. 1 in 20 patients also you will find. Further, the average age of piles is affected between 45 to 65. It is not very strict, even from 30. It is also my privilege